Hi, I'm Kurt Lawrence from Northwest Cabarrus STEM Middle School. I'm a CTE teacher. I teach career decisions to 6th grade students. I teach agricultural science to 7th grade students and exploring biotechnology to 8th grade students. This is my setup here at home where I work from home. I've got my school laptop here where I can do my work. I've also added a monitor so that I can monitor the students' responses to assignments when they get an assignment and they work on it. If they're done with it, it turns in and it notifies me over here so I can keep connected. If a student's having problems, I can check that email and see what their question is and respond right back to them. So this is my indoor setup. But there's more to this. I have an outdoor classroom as well, and I'd like you to see that too. A few years ago, we bought this house because we loved the floor plan, and but a bonus that came along with it was all the trees that are in the yard, all these fruit trees. We've got an apple tree, we have a plum tree, we have 2 peach trees, and there's even more. There's pears and apples here on this lot, and we have a potting shed that I've set up so that I can use that for the things that I enjoy. What an amazing outdoor classroom.
Hi there, my name is Krina Pressley. I am a 5th grade teacher at McAllister. As a school-wide team there, we currently utilize ClassDojo as a way of staying connected with our students as well as families. So during this virtual time, I've continued to utilize that as my #1 form of communication and ways to stay connected to my students during this time. ClassDojo offers a plethora of tools and resources that help me maintain that connection with my students and families. Some of those being the classroom portfolios, the individual student portfolios, where students can really go in, capture what they're learning, take pictures of what they're doing, message me as well, and those notifications pop up on my laptop as well as my phone so that when I see them come through, I can just open them up and connect with them in that way. Additionally, ClassDojo offers the direct messaging function that I continue to utilize to message not only students but parents as well. That function has just revolutionized my ability to stay connected with my students and families. I can easily just send a quick message, just letting parents know how their child is doing. I do that on a weekly basis through ClassDojo. I additionally can send them feedback. Throughout this whole process, I've kind of learned we have to get creative when it comes to providing students with feedback. And so I'm really relying on my parents to relay the feedback that I want my students to have so that learning can continue to be maintained.
Hey guys, this is my workstation. This is where I would come in every day, Ground Central, check in with students, get on my LMS. This is my sidekick here. He's commonly in any kind of videos that I post. My students expect for some kind of interruption from Brody, but I talk about Brody all the time in my classes. So when asked how I actively engage my students during this remote learning situation, the best way I've done it is to ask them questions to get them engaged. Each day posting check-ins with them, asking them how they're handling the situation, because what we've lost most during this is our ability to communicate face-to-face with people. So that's a way to communicate or get them engaged. Also relating the activities that we post as teachers, making it relevant to the current situation that we're going through.
So when reflecting on my teaching strategies in general, I always like to ask myself, what tools or resources could I be utilizing to really engage my 21st century learners? So in this capacity, in a virtual environment, I know that I have digital tools at my fingertips. So really thinking about what digital tools can I be weaving into my virtual instruction to really spike the interest levels in my kids is vital. So when thinking about how this whole virtual learning environment has evolved or changed my instruction, I would say that that would be the #1 way. It has really given me the opportunity to explore digital resources that are out there and really come up with some rock solid ones and implement them into my lessons. Things like Flipgrid, Padlet, Canvas discussion boards, they have allowed my students and myself to maintain that connectivity throughout instruction as they're showcasing their learning, as well as it has allowed my students to stay connected with each other. They're able to go in and share their response, listen in on everybody else's response, and then compare and contrast their response to their peers.
When asked how I'm adjusting my teaching strategies during this current situation, it's been a big adjustment. Bottom line, you had to throw traditional teaching out the window with remote learning, especially with art. We first had to do an assessment because when the students left us on March 13th and went home, none of us had any idea that we would be under this current situation. A lot of them have nothing more than a pencil and a piece of paper, if that, to work with as far as art supplies. So requiring some kind of elaborate art supplies for a project is just not practical. So for equity, we had to come up and modify assignments that would give students the opportunity where they all could participate and have access to the common things.
I feel like my students and I have learned very similar things throughout this virtual teaching and learning process. We both miss being in the school building with each other. I feel like my students and myself, we kind of are reminded of the experience of it all. Through communicating with them and checking in with them, they have definitely communicated that they miss interacting with their friends. They miss learning from me, they miss learning in the classroom. It's just different at home, and so they definitely let me know that they've been made more aware of how much they value school in general. And as for myself, I've always been the person that feels like, as the teacher in the room, I feel like I need to be in it to win it when it comes to the learning that's happening with my kids. And so when giving tasks or checking for understandings or milling through a lesson, I feel like I need to be immersed in the learning with them. I've always felt like that, so that I can scaffold, I can facilitate, I can help in any way that I can, and I can see those light bulbs go off. So this whole process in general has really opened my eyes to the importance of that piece of it all, of the teaching and learning process, is being there in it with my kids. Something that I really can't do trying to teach virtually. I get creative and do the best I can, but it's something that's just so authentic to the classroom that you really just can't emulate.
During this time of teaching remotely, one thing that I've learned about my students, a good number of them have just risen to the challenge. And I know that a lot of times our administrators are saying to the teachers, oh, we're so grateful for how you've risen to the challenge. And I know my principal, Anna Blessington, has been so complimentary and so pleased with how our staff has responded to this. She's always making compliments like that. But another thing, and she says this too, but another thing is I have just been so impressed with some of these students who, as soon as the lesson is posted, they're on it, they're doing their best, they really want to learn. And that's the kind of students that are so much fun to teach. And I've learned a lot about them. I've also learned about myself. That standard of excellence that I like to hold for myself, some of them rise to meet it every